I'm now posting some Bruce Lipton stuff. This guy um, knows that he's going to be changing our complete healthcare system. The Cancer Society has their research has been stating that something like 50% of all cancers can be prevented. I have found the science that says every cancer is curable, every illness is curable. I mean, basically, if you're dying, something is wrong within your belief systems. A lot of everything that we are experiencing in our reality turns out to be what we believe to be true, and all of my research says everything you believe to be true turns out to be completely false. So I'm posting um, on my whole channel is going to be a lot of information that helps change everything we believe into truth. And the truth is the end result. And is the end result your desired result? So, a lot of this information is what I've been using to help cure um, emotional challenges that are caused from severe abuse and physical problems. So these are some of Bruce Lipton's stuff. Amazing, amazing stuff. I'm going to post too where his beliefs are and where they're not exactly true. Um, Again, I've posted before, truth you can find when there's a contradiction. So some of the things Bruce Lipton is onto is bang on, but there's some things that he's just not clear about, which I'll post other videos, from other scientists that the missing information that he's lacking, you can fill that gap up from another scientist. It's like we have all of the information. It's just one big huge puzzle that we need to just put the puzzle pieces together. What is relevant and what isn't relevant? And I've posted this Mandelbrot set, and you can see that what's inside you is, what's in the smallness of you is going to be what's in the bigness of our experiences. And this is the same thing, this new world order, you know, what's out in the bigness, everything that we hate is actually coming from inside us, but we see it reflected in other people. So there's going to be a lot of videos that I'm posting that will help put the pieces of the puzzle together. You need information, and you'll see a lot of this will be explained through Bruce Lipton stuff. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll add a few comments as I post this video.
Thank you. I want to thank Doug Parks for providing this opportunity for me to speak here before you, and I want to thank you for coming out, because I have some very, very exciting information that I love to share with everybody. And this information really relates to what controls biology. And as Doug mentioned, I was a cellular biologist at the University of Wisconsin, cloning human muscle cells. I was taking cells out of people, putting them into the tissue culture dish, and studying individual cells in an effort to understand what was controlling their fate, what was making them dystrophic or pathological, what was making them normal, and in the control process. In this research, I started to come to an understanding that greatly differed from my whole scientific foundation, that we were controlled by genes. And in the end, the research let me in on the inside that it was the perception of the environment that controlled the cell. Well, in cell levels, perceptions are perceptions, but at human levels, perceptions are beliefs. And it turns out that it's actually our beliefs that select our genes and select our behavior. And the beautiful part about this, as Doug said, is it's life-changing for myself especially. I was one of the genetic kind of people, and now I've transitioned my whole life into this so-called New Age spiritual science of belief. And the wonderful part about this lecture, outside of the fact that I will provide you with a molecular connection of how a belief actually switches on a gene so that there's no like empty boxes, no devotion in this place. This is actually just molecules. I'm going to get that across, I hope. But the beautiful part about this is that in the second part of the presentation, a dear friend and colleague of mine, Rob Williams, is going to provide you with information and tools about how you can rapidly change beliefs. Belief changing is not that hard a process. In fact, it can be done almost in minutes. So there's new science and new tools available. But before I start, let's start off with a truth statement. This is a very simple truth statement. Knowledge is power. The more awareness you have, the more capable you are of surviving and succeeding. Well, this is a truth, but there's another truth as well that goes with this picture, and that is lack of knowledge results in a lack of power. Why is this relevant right now? This question about lack of knowledge is this. Is that we all have been provided with information about our health being involved with our genes. We used to hear the stories. Actually, we still hear it on a daily newspaper. You might even find an article tonight that talks about the fact that the genes control the aspects of our lives. Well, we also recognize this, that we got the genes from our parents. And when you get genes from your parents and all of a sudden the genes control your life, then you find yourself to be more or less a victim of your heredity. If you find that there's cancer running in your family, then what do you start to get nervous about? My God, I've got genes in here. I'm a ticking time bomb. Something is going to go off and I'm going to end up dead, or some problem is going to happen. Why? Not my responsibility. Came from my parents. Well, the problem with that belief system is it extends to another level. It says if you really can't do anything about your genes because that's what you receive from your parents, then all of a sudden you become irresponsible in the sense of like, well, I can't do anything about it, so why should I even try? And that's when all of a sudden all things go lost. And this is where this lack of power manifests itself, because this belief about genes is totally disempowering to every one of us, because it says you are less powerful than your genes. But what about the reality that this is not a true statement? And the fact is, well, let me explain what I'm talking about here. I'll start off with this. This picture of the DNA, almost everyone has seen this. It's been in school for so many years now. We're all trained with this. We see this on the media every day, that the DNA in your body, the genes in your body, provide for the characteristics of your life. So things not just besides your height, your hair color, your eye color, but things like anxiety and obesity and homosexuality and aggression and shyness and happiness are all characteristics that have been attributed to genes. And if this is true, then the belief system, of course, is that when you got these genes at the moment of fertilization, your life was already established, and all the rest of your life is just the unfoldment of the programs that you received from your parents. So the genes, and we're going to talk some science tonight, but it's not going to be that difficult, so bear with me on it, because, again, I don't want to leave black boxes in here, empty spaces where you have to have devotion. I'm going to show you the connection. The genes, the DNA molecules, are found in the cell, in the individual cell, in a structure called the nucleus. So almost all people have seen a cell with a nucleus in it. And virtually all the genes are in the nucleus. As it says right here in this paper, which is in a recent issue of Science, this is one of the most prestigious journals in the world today, it says here in the first sentence on this article, which was dealing with the whole issue dedicated to the role of the nucleus, first sentence, the nucleus is the command center of the cell. This is conventional belief, that the nucleus is the command center because in the nucleus are the genes, and the genes control you, so the nucleus represents that source of control for the cell. Well, the command center of the cell would be tantamount to the brain. As I used to teach in medical school to the medical students, the cells, and this is an image of a cell, just a cartoon image of a cell. The cells make us up. We have approximately 50 to 75 trillion cells that make our body. Interesting point I used to teach them is this. There is no new function in your entire human body that's not already present in every cell. Every cell has a respiratory system, a digestive system, an excretory system, an endocrine system, an integumentary system, a nervous system, a reproductive system, an immune system. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is this. that the cell and the human are structural functional counterparts of each other. Whatever's in the cell is in the human. Whatever's in the human is in the cell. So when I talk about the brain of the cell, or the brain of the human, as that element that controls